this recording going. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Mailbox Power Mastermind call that happens every single Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Mountain, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm like, let me get all the time zones in there. And we come together as Mailbox Power affiliates to help us all as a mastermind to learn from each other and grow our businesses. Mostly our Mailbox Power business, but as a result, as we're growing that business, it inevitably grows our other business also. And we need to be able to talk about how it grows businesses to gain clients and other affiliates. So with that, we'd like to start the week with the wins. Does anybody have a Mailbox Power win they would like to share this week? Nope. All right. Well, then I'm going to turn it over to Mike because he had an idea of what we were going to talk about, or he said he did this morning to me.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
What was I going to talk about?
I don't know.
She makes this stuff up all the time.
Well, I had a win, but it wasn't Mailbox Power. I had the honor of designing my own fabric art card for a Vietnam vet who's making an honor flight from Chicago to Washington. And they're going to do mail call and he's going to get that card. And I'm so excited. I was just so blessed to be able to do that. My girlfriend reached out to me and she said, I want to commission you to make a special fabric card for my father-in-law.
Oh, nice. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
I know, I think Nanette's done a few of those cards for honor flight. It's fun to watch them, that whole process, and to be able to go back to DC and see the wall. And yeah, it's fun. Good morning, Jill. Welcome to the call. Oh, here comes everybody. Here comes Neil. So right now, Jill, and when Neil gets on, we're talking about Mailbox Power wins for last week, if you have any. Jill or Neil, do you have anything before we move on? I don't hear anything, so we'll move on. So I wanted to continue the discussion that we had last week of just the strategy and tactics of playing poker, or really any strategy game, whether it's Monopoly or Risk or any of those things. There's a strategy behind playing games, but especially Texas Hold'em, which is what Mike and I like to play. And that strategy, I believe, helps us win with Mailbox Power. And I've done some, I haven't done some recently, but I was doing every Monday morning how poker and marketing are similar. And Mike last week talked about the antes, the big blind and the small blind and the big blind and the antes. And if you're going to play poker, it's just part of poker. It's sort of like business. Those are kind of your expected and necessary expenses in order to play poker. There are some necessary expenses in order to succeed in business. And I don't know if we talk enough about that with potential clients. I've said on multiple morning calls that my goal always with a client is that this is a profit center for their business. Anybody that plays poker, anybody that starts a business, they want it to be profitable. They gambled, whether they think they did or not. They gambled when they got in business, whether it be a network marketing business, a direct sales business, a brick and mortar, a franchise. They all gambled on themselves. Well, what are those things that are required to succeed in business? So many businesses are great at a skill. Think of landscapers, deck people who build decks, people who do concrete, roofers. A lot of them got in business because they thought they could do it better than their boss. And they realized they were getting this much of the paycheck and the company was getting this much. And they're like, I can do this better. But how many of us are really schooled in business? Any thoughts on that? This isn't a one way. Irma.
So, what I talk about is decision making. And I say that we are the result of our decisions. And I make the example of when I do my speaking, and this is what really gets people to think. I say, think about the businesses, the same business, Allstate Insurance, whatever, 6 branches. Why do some succeed and some fail?
Mm-hmm.
And look at employees. Why do some succeed working into the same location for the same boss, doing the same? Some succeed and some fail. It's all based on the decisions we make. And then looking at the bigger picture. It's not just about us winning, but how do we make our clients feel? And how do we make us different than everybody else? And sometimes it's little touches, little tiny things. And then I talk about stories of, why people say they love me. And it's over little things, sending a card, sending a get well card, I mean, it's not just about the cards, but so I'm right with you.
Awesome. For those that just joined the call, we're talking about those things that are kind of required in business to succeed. Mike and I were talking about Texas Hold'em, and you've got a big blind and a small blind and an ante, and those are things that you got to pay in order to play that game. So we're kind of talking around that subject right now. Suzanne?
Good morning. This is on the subject, but a little bit different perspective. It just happened yesterday. They talked about worthiness. And even though businesses may be exactly alike and whatever, the ones that succeed are the ones that know that they can succeed, that they're worthy and that whatever they do. He gave an example that he had a business and he was doing all the right things and whatever it was, and the employees were treated well, and he was succeeding. But there was another company exactly the same thing, and the guy wasn't that good, but he didn't treat his employees very well, but he was also succeeding. And they said, well, what's the difference? And they said his attitude. He knew he could do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's one of the biggest things, is just having confidence in the fact that you can succeed. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
I agree. Mindset is everything. And I have a friend here in Colorado that talks about mind monkeys. And many of us, I think Lulu and I have had this conversation. Many of us hold ourselves back. We don't think we're worthy of the success. We don't think, I know Mike and I, when we were writing the book, it's like, who are we? We're not expert. Who's to say we're experts to write a book? And that's a big deal. The mindset is huge. And that's why we do these calls, to help with mindset and to come together as a group to help each other through those type of things. Kimberly.
I think when you find communities where you can grow, because confidence, courage, and having a sense of consistency is really important. And I was talking to my Toastmasters group. We had an installation party yesterday for the new officers. And in that community that I've been a part of since 2015 has allowed me to say yes to more things. Like you asked me to handle the call on the 29th. It's like, absolutely, regardless of my, it's the confidence and the courage to say yes and to really be of service. And I think that, if I uphold those pillars of confidence, courage, and consistency, that I've got a shot in the marketplace to make a difference and stand out. Thanks for allowing me to share.
Thank you. Marie.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to go back to the mindset that Suzanne, I guess, started with, and then Brenda expanded on. I'll never forget a story that Zig Ziglar told about, someone who was in Denver and the business wasn't going well at all and moved to Dallas, and suddenly it flourished. His business in Dallas flourished, and someone in Dallas whose business wasn't doing well at all. But when he moved to Denver, he could make a go of things. And it's a mindset. In my own experience, I owned a training franchise and bought that in 1996. And I remember there was a franchisee in Chattanooga, and he would call me and just negative. He doesn't know why they sold him that franchise. That area was much too small to have a training franchise. And he finally just went out of business. And the franchise was resold. And the woman who bought it is still in business today in the year 2024. And she's one of the top producers in the world with this training company. And it's just a matter of mindset and belief, etc. So just wanted to share those two examples.
I love it. Lulu.
So you touched on it. There are some of us who are not afraid of failing. We're afraid of succeeding. And that certainly was me. Like, what am I going to do with all this success? And I know I can do it, but am I worthy of it? I was comparing myself to other people, and I did feel many times before I found Mailbox Power and this group in particular, that I was going it alone and white knuckling it. And that touches a little bit on what Kimberly was talking about. Like, there's safety in numbers. I don't need anybody to do it for me, but just knowing, meeting other people who are succeeding and feeling comfortable, like I can do that too, and it's okay. And in fact, the more I succeed, the more I can help other people and grow myself and grow other people and help other people grow their business. So for me, it was finding a community that made it okay for me to succeed. And that helps guide me with that success and to that success. So it has truly changed my mindset being part of this little, the big community of Mailbox Power, but this little community in particular.
I think, Lulu, it's really important to be part of a community. I think we don't know what we don't know until we are around other people who can actually show us different ways to be successful. And I think that's the one thing I love about this mastermind call is it is about everybody contributing and showing what they've learned, successes and failures. So it is important to be part of a community. And I think sometimes people don't understand that. And I love the fact that we can host these calls and bring people together and make us all better at what we do.
And we can come here and be vulnerable with our successes and our failures, and nobody feels weird about it. It's part of the process. But in the former company I was with, like I reached out to people to like, just let's brainstorm together. Like I need people. I'm not a lone wolf. I just am not built that way. And that's how I felt. So this has been huge for me.
Well, we're really glad it's helpful for people, because that was our intent. Is, we're reading a book, The Mentor. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's called
Mike?
Mentor.
The Mentor, and we just finished it on our drive up here into the mountains. And, you know, the gentleman that was in the story at the end gets awarded a big award from the company he's with, and they were shooting for it, but they didn't know they had made it. And he got up and was talking about his story, and his mentor got up and said, well, I need to share with you a story. My wife's been telling me I need to share a story with you. And he had reached out to this millionaire and asked, because the millionaire had said at his dad's funeral, is there any, if you ever need anything, reach out. And so he finally did when he had a network marketing opportunity that he had been presented with. And he's like, I don't know, but I'm just gonna call him. And he's like, how about the next day? And it's like, okay. And he agreed to mentor him. But what came out is when they were brought up on stage, the mentor came up and said, it was actually, you'll have to go read the book to find out the whole story. But his dad, the mentee's dad, had mentored that millionaire and projected him into a profitable and successful life. And so when the son reached out to him, he felt in a way obligated to help, because his dad is what helped him to get to where he was. And it was mindset. They weren't in the same company or that, but he was just there to listen and to guide and to encourage.
But more importantly, I think that the father, this millionaire, had not been a millionaire. And he was at a point in his life where he was sitting on somewhere and looking at a heap of garbage, and he says, that's all I am. And he was actually contemplating doing something really bad to himself. And this other fella's dad came up to him and says, I really want to tell you how much I appreciate you and how I value the courage that you've shown throughout what you've been able to do. And so that gave him incentive to not do what he was planning to do, and started looking at opportunities. And he found one that actually produced a lot of wealth for him and his family. And so when he did go to that funeral for the fellow that saved his life, basically, he told his son, if you ever need anything, like Brenda said, just don't hesitate, because I'm here to help, and I'm here to do whatever I can do to make your situation better.
And then the younger couple turned around and mentored their friends that were in bad situations to help them grow a business. And he said to the mentor, if I can just help one like you helped me, I will be successful.
And really, that's what this is all about, is just helping each other and growing and learning what we need to do, improving our skill set to do more of helping others. Marie.
So I just came out of a meeting and I thought I would share. I was late to this one. So when I came on, Irma was talking, and I think Irma was talking about in order to be successful in business, you've got to differentiate yourself. And one of those ways would be sending cards. This woman said something I'd never heard before when she talked about networking, which we all do, face-to-face networking. And, typically when you go into a networking event and you don't know someone, you go up to them and introduce yourself. They tell you their name, and the typical question is, so what do you do? Okay. And that's what almost everybody does, or what almost everyone says. And she had some science to back all of this up, but she said a better conversation starter is to say something like, have you been working on anything exciting lately? Because what that does is that the brain starts looking for good stuff to share, and it washes them over with is it serotonin? And all of that's contagious to you. But the point that she said that really made an impact on me is that conversation then is so different from all these other conversations that it literally makes like a post-it note imprint on their brains and makes you remembered, makes you unforgettable. So I thought I would share that.
I love it. Thank you. Any other thoughts around the topic? It is.
Just to
Go ahead.
tap on what she said, the book, The Go-Giver, did anybody read that book by Bob Berg?
Yeah.
Awesome book. And they talk a lot about better questions to ask. And if I know that I went to the event, remember when Kim Angeli, I don't know how many of you saw that. I went and it was fabulous, and they're having it again in September. I could send, I'll get the information and put it on, where would I put it? I guess on the
Affiliate group, probably.
affiliate group. It's just fabulous. And you can come to see me because I live close. But I will put it there.
But it's definitely about mindset and finding somebody to lock arms with who believes in you more than you believe in yourself. I truly believe that when we surround ourselves with people like that, think of the crabs in the bucket. Who's reaching down in the bucket to grab your hand to help you out of the bucket? And who is in the bucket grabbing you and trying to keep you where you're at? Because this same guy, his friends were trying to keep him where he was at. Were telling him when he first started this, you can't make any money at that, and just negative Nellies. And he chose to do it anyways and surround himself with other people who believed in him more than he believed in himself, so that they could mentor him so he could get to where he wanted to be. So the moral of the story is find somebody, whether it be in Mailbox Power, whether it be, I know Kimberly's in Legal Shield, Marie has a coaching business, find somebody that you respect and is doing better than you and is where you would like to be, and reach out. It can't hurt to reach out to somebody. You might be scared, you know what, to reach out to them, but all they can say is no. And if you never reach out and ask, guess what? The answer is no. So who do you have outside of this group, maybe in your local area, in your networking groups, that can be an accountability partner for you, whether they're in your business or not, that you know is super successful, that you can learn from in business? And go ask them, invite them to coffee and pay for coffee or pay for their lunch or their dinner or drinks, whatever. And never use the term, I learned this from Casey and other mentors, never say, can I pick your brain? Because yeah, I'd love to meet with you and
Share ideas.
share
or-
ideas, or yeah.
It's about finding
Pick your
people
brain.
it's about finding people that you admire, people that are successful, people that have the skills that you want or need. And it really is about skill building. And the more you're able to build your skills, the better you're going to be able to succeed in whatever you do.
Yep.
So go out and stand out from the crowd, be different, find what differentiates you. Maybe go ask your top 5 customers, why me? What, you
Ooh.
know, if you had to describe me in 3 words, what would it be?
I love that.
I've been
I
in
really love
several
that.
training sessions where they say, go find out what's your secret sauce. And the best way to find that out is to ask your top customers. And then you can start crafting your language differently based on that, because you may think it's one thing and your customers are thinking it's something different. And if you could just tweak that and tweak it to the way the customers see you and start using that language, what would happen? How many of you would gain another client? And how many of you are still in the challenge and reaching out and the 90-day challenge? Reaching out to a minimum of 1 person a day. We
Whoops.
put that challenge out there. It's not too late. You can start today. How many of you are reaching out to at least 1 person a day? And let's see
Oh.
where we are at the end of the 90 days. Lulu.
Yeah, I just realized what we're talking about. Yes. I don't know if it's 1 per day, but yes. Okay.
Everybody might have a different goal. Somebody might be 3 or 5 or whatever, but at least 1, because some people on this call aren't even making 1 reach out a day. So with that, I hope you all have an absolutely fabulous week, and we'll see you next Monday on the Mastermind call.
Yay.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.